I'm happy to be able to start today's episode by saying welcome to Norway. This morning I left Denmark on a ferry headed to a place called Kristiansand. Now, keeping in line with the current theme of this series, there's been a lot of issues and hold-ups, and today wasn't any different. The border patrol took an interest in myself and the van and decided to give the pigeon a full-on cavity search. But we made it out of that unscathed, and seeing as that we're going to be driving as far north as I possibly can during this series, I thought it was only right to start it off. And the place that I'm at right now is called Lindesnes, and it's the most southerly point of Norway. And as you can see, I've found the most beautiful park up to start this adventure. As much as I would love to stay here and watch the raindrops fall upon the water's edge, I've got a road trip to get on with. Now, the first thing I want to do though is find a supermarket and top up with food. Everyone keeps telling me, or kept telling me, to make sure I got food before I got into Norway, stock right up, because the prices here are extortionate. But how bad can it be? And the answer? Really bad. Well, now, to be fair, it might not be. All of this costs 50 quid, or 55 I think. Let's take one item as an example. Pant. What do you mean pant? I didn't buy a pant. Why would anyone buy just one pant? Unless you got one leg. You buy a pair of pants. Well, hang on. It says I bought one pant for 2 NOK and another pant for 3 NOK. What is a pant? Well, according to the translation app, a pant means a pledge. So the milk is about £1.50, which isn't too bad. But I have found a third pant on the receipt. So if anyone could let me know what they are charging me for when they put pants down, if they had my pants down, it'd be much appreciated. So since the last episode, we boarded the boat and we came across to roughly here. We then took a short drive down the coast to the most southerly point, which is where we spent the night last night, and we're currently just next door to that. But the next stop is a place called Bergen. It's supposed to be a beautiful place to visit, but we also have a couple of errands to run there, and I'm hoping that we can escape the rain. This is a bit of unusual traffic. I'm not used to this type of traffic in the UK. As if we could get through an episode without something major happening to get in our way. A light has just come on the dashboard, and it just so happens to be the worst light of all the lights, the check engine light. Well, at least that was easy enough to find. I'm pretty sure the port is behind this thing. Okay, that is the tool plugged in. P0805. Well, according to this, that means clutch position sensor A circuit has been detected. What the hell does that mean? We're just going to have to become friends with the light. Good light. Shall I reset it? Yeah, why not? That way, we can forget it exists until it comes back on, which hopefully won't be until the morning. So I've just found this place on Park for Night. It says it's outside a motorhome dealer, which obviously that is a motorhome dealer next to me. But the actual spot where I can park, I have no idea. I mean, I could just rock up here, I suppose. I don't know what business this is, but as long as I'm up early enough, I think we'll be all good. Honestly, when I was driving here, before it got dark, you could look in any direction and you just see the most amazing scenery. There's mountains, there's mist floating about at the top of the mountains, there's frozen lakes, and obviously when you're driving at night you miss out on all of that. I'm all tucked up for the night. Now, I don't know what it is, right, but outside in the distance the sky is just lit up, and it has been on the drive down here as well in different areas. I don't think it's the Northern Lights. It doesn't look like the Northern Lights, and I'm nowhere near the north, but I know it is possible to see them even in places like Scotland. I'm pretty sure I'm higher than Scotland. But if anyone knows why the clouds are glowing, let me know. Before I go to bed, I just wanted to talk to you guys about something which keeps popping up in the comments, not just on this channel, but on other van life channels as well. And that's the subject of how to deal with loneliness when you're spending so much time on your own in a small space like this. And I've never really had any suggestions for people who are feeling like that other than to talk to someone, but I know it's not really always that simple. But recently a company called BetterHelp got in contact with me about doing a paid promotion, and I looked at what they do and I think it's pretty amazing, so I just wanted to share that with you guys. It's basically a way of talking to a therapist online without having to go to a certain place at a certain time and having to sit down face to face with someone who you might not even feel that comfortable around. And this isn't just about loneliness. I mean, we all struggle with different forms of mental health, right? But talking to somebody can always be a big help. So I'm going to stick a link down below so you guys can check them out. And if you do sign up, you start off by filling out a little questionnaire so that they can find out more about you, and then they can match you to the therapist that's going to work best with you. Now, in most cases, that match is going to be made within 48 hours. And from there, you can schedule to have video calls or phone calls, or even just text messages with the therapist if you find that a lot more comfortable to do. And the good thing is, if you don't feel like your therapist is a good match for you, you can simply request to have a new match made. So if you do want to check it out, you can actually get 10% off of your first month. I'll put a link down below in the description, or visit betterhelp.com/adsventures. Good morning, people. It turns out this motorhome dealership is not just a dealership, it's a workshop here as well. Not only that, you also allow people to stay, and you've got electricity, water, and all of that for them as well. I'm just taking advantage of their Wi-Fi here, so I'm uploading a video to YouTube. And whilst doing that, I thought I'd take a look around, and I think I've found my next van. All right, scrap that. I found an even better one. Check out the colour of this. How much is this van?
2.5.
2.5 million. I don't know what that is in UK, but it sounds expensive. Yeah. We're going to start saving, and we're going to come back and we're going to buy this van. So as much as I would have loved to have stayed at that place and checked out more of their vans, we need to crack on. And the check engine light hasn't come back on just yet, so hopefully that'll remain off until we get to Bergen, and then we can deal with that tomorrow. Good morning from a very wet Bergen. The drive here yesterday consisted of a lot of rain, a lot of tunnels, a lot of bridges, a couple of extremely rough ferry crossings, and even a small hailstorm. But when I arrived, the weather had cleared up just about enough to send the drone over the bay and check out the area a little bit before it started to get dark. And from there, I went to a bar where my new Norwegian friend works, and she gave me the package that we've been waiting for that's been delivered from the UK. So these are the studs that you screw into the tyres to give us better grip. So I think we just need to start pushing on further north until we reach the snow. So we are currently down here, and I have a new target in mind, which is here. And that is one of the most iconic driving roads in the entire world. So I'm hoping that when we get there, the weather is good enough to send the drone up. It's called the Atlantic Road. It's about a 10-hour drive from here. So I'm thinking we could do half the drive today, half the drive tomorrow, but obviously at that point it's then going to be nighttime when we get there. So then I'll sleep somewhere in that area, wake up the next day, and we will hit the Atlantic Road. As for the check engine light situation, well, the light did come back on, but this time it went off by itself. So that means yet another intermittent problem. It is official. We have found the snow. Seeing the rain slowly turn to the beautiful white flakes has given me a newfound enthusiasm for this trip. If it's like this down here where I am at the moment, I can't imagine what it's going to be like as we cross over into the Arctic Circle. So I'm going to get back on the road. I just had to pull over to take some shots of this because it's such an incredible place. So far the tyres are giving me good grip, but obviously the road itself, you can see, is pretty clear. I haven't quite made it as far as I'd hoped today. Everyone's driving real slow on the roads. To be honest, the conditions aren't ideal out there. It's like not snow completely and not rain completely and not dry completely. It's just a mix of everything. So it's creating like a slush on the roads, and in some places there's like sheet ice as well. And then in other places there's nothing. It's like you go through a tunnel, come out the other side of the mountain, and the weather is completely different. So because of that, I don't know whether to put the studs on just yet. I think though, looking at the weather in the places that I'm headed to next, it's going to be a lot colder and it's going to stay a lot colder. So I think in the morning that is going to be the first job that I have to do before we leave here. At the moment I'm just parked in some random town. To be honest with you, I don't know where it is or what it's called. Turns out it's quite the winter wonderland going on out here today. I could see on the CCTV the landscape had changed, but I didn't know it was snowing quite this much. It's so quiet around here, even though I am pretty much in a town or a city or something like that. One thing that surprised me is every single place that I've stayed in between the UK and here It's been the most quiet, peaceful night's sleep. I've just rocked up anywhere, empty car parks, no one around, no one disturbs me, no one says a thing. Something I might have overlooked is how I'm actually going to access the tyres enough to get all of these studs in. I mean, these front tyres, I can obviously turn the wheel so they're facing out and then drive forward every now and again to access a new bit. But these back ones, I've got that tiny little bit underneath there that I can access, and that tiny little bit underneath there that I can access, and then I guess I just have to keep rolling it forward. All of the ingredients for the ultimate breakfast drink. We've got milk, honey, coffee, and bananas. And let's just stick some hot chocolate in there for a little bonus. That is most definitely the one. I've got enough confidence in it to say that before I even tried it. I suppose I better drink the rest of this up and crack on with what the... Is that a mountain out my window? I didn't know that was out there. The snow was covering it up earlier. The snow stopped coming down so much so we can now see what's in the background. Look at that. Wait, hang on a sec. Look at that. I had no idea I was parked right next to that beast of a mountain. Look how tiny these little studs are, and then that there is the tool to fit them. So I think the studs themselves are called Best Grip, but that's hidden by this label, which is for the actual UK distributor, Supertrax. So get in touch with them if I let you know later that these are any good. It was hard to screw this in and film at the same time, but basically it's just like a normal screw. You put the tool on it, you spin it, and it goes into the rubber. I didn't know exactly how many of those things to put in. I've got some spare and I've got them on the passenger seat here, so every time I pull over I'm going to check for any gaps that I might have missed, and I can always add some in if we need some extra grip. I've also taken all of the snow off of the roof and the windscreen, and we are ready to hit the road. But first, let's check out how much grip these bad boys now have. Oh, look at that! She's sticking to the road like a slug whose mother was a slug and whose father was a tube of super glue. Look at her go! I've been climbing in altitude for about an hour now. I'm assuming I'm at the top of some sort of mountain because we're just about to start coming down, I think. But as you can see, there was pretty much a complete whiteout. I can barely see the road. There was a bit back there where I could not see a thing. I had to slow right down to about 5 miles an hour. I'm hoping as we descend, it's gonna clear up a bit, because if it continues like this, soon I am not gonna be able to see a thing. Now see, this here, right, is a barrier that comes down. I've seen these on some other roads. I think when the roads get so bad, they have to shut those, and then obviously there's certain roads that you can't drive on. But I'm wondering how bad it has to get before that's the case. At the moment though, it looks like it's clearing up a bit, so I think we're good. Right, brake test time. Oh, okay, we're sliding, but we have come to a stop. Not too bad. Off into the distance there, you can see nothing. There's a storm and a half brewing over there, it looks like. But we press on. I've made it safely to the park up. I'm currently right near the end, or the beginning rather, of the Atlantic Road. I'm just in some random car park at the moment. And despite the irrational weather patterns I've been experiencing, I don't think, or in fact I know, I have never and probably will never experience a drive quite like that again in my life. It was absolutely incredible. The van has been driving perfectly, it's been sticking to the roads nicely, and honestly, the things that I have seen on this drive, unbelievable. Yes, if you must know, I did just splash hot cheese oil all over the van and myself when I did that shot dropping the pizza down. And it's killed my hoodie. I've tried to wash it out. It's not happening. The hoodie is now yet another victim of the Arctic trip. Right, I'm going to eat this and I'm going to offload the footage from my many cameras, including this one that I'm filming on right now. Then I'm going to get me some sleep, wake up early in the morning, ready for the venture across the open Arctic road. Oh, I think I'm eating a bit of paper. Oh. I remember when I was just a kid, I must have been about 12 years old. I had a poster on my bedroom wall of a Ferrari and it was driving through the most incredible road. The road seemed to snake across a lot of different islands out in the ocean. I used to look at that poster and imagine that one day I would be the one driving that Ferrari across that incredible road. And it wasn't until last night when I was going to bed and I looked it up that I realised that this is that exact same road. And I may not be in a Ferrari, but in my opinion I'm in something far better. I am in the Pigeon, an old panel van which I've spent months of blood, sweat and tears converting into the adventure wagon which I've driven across 7 different countries to get me here today. Driving on this road used to be a dream of mine, and right now in this moment I am living that dream. I'd like to thank you all so much for being a part of this journey. Right now I've got my sights set on one thing and one thing only, and that is reaching the Arctic Circle. So I'd like to invite you all to stay tuned, and hopefully next time you see me we will be doing just that. As for me, I've reached the end of this road. I'm going to spin the van around, go back to the beginning, shut the cameras off and drive through it one more time, just so that I can really appreciate exactly how far I've come.